Trump gave a decisive 20-minute speech, but in reality, he was just paving the way to announce defeat. Can you believe that mighty America is now begging Iran just to reach a ceasefire agreement with it? And this is after it used to threaten to overthrow the regime? What is the truth behind the April 6th deadline that Trump is avoiding? Why are some people today talking about the possibility of striking Iran with nuclear weapons? Could it happen? We'll discuss these developments today. Stay with us after the break. Dear viewers, peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. Welcome to another edition today, God willing, in this episode of the Opinion series, which we always dedicate to keeping up with the latest developments in this war that the Middle East is witnessing between Iran and the Epstein coalition. Everyone this morning was waiting for President Trump's speech, as everyone believed that through this speech, either the war would be declared over or the beginning of a ground operation in Iran would be announced. That means a bigger escalation or something else of that sort, meaning it was supposed to be an important and decisive speech, but in reality, Trump surprised everyone, surprised the whole world, because he didn't bring anything new in this speech. The speech was just a repetition of all the statements and tweets from the past weeks. And in recent days, Trump once again declared complete victory, called for an agreement with Iran, and again threatened to send Iran back to the Stone Age. Trump also, during this speech, insulted NATO countries because they did not help America in opening the Strait of Hormuz. So in summary, and most importantly, Trump did not make any new statements during this speech. No real statements, no realistic statements. So after finally coming to the conclusion that it was impossible to open the Strait of Hormuz, what did Trump say? He said that he doesn't need to open this strait, and he said that the countries that need it are the European and Asian countries, and this is a fact that we deny. But the problem is that these European or Asian countries also cannot and will not be able to open the Strait of Hormuz by force. Therefore, there is now a new reality that Iran is imposing on the world, on the countries of the world, a new reality imposed on all countries of the world. It is that these countries must recognize Tehran's sovereignty over this strait and then pay fees for any ship passing through this strait. And this means that the region will come under Iran's sovereignty instead of being under America's sovereignty. In one way or another, this is a new shift, a very important shift that everyone today must accept. The region will not be as it was before. The situation is changing rapidly, and Iran is becoming the guarantor of security in the region. The world after this war will not be the same, and neither will any country in the world once it ends. They will rush to normalize relations with Iran. They will rush to open avenues of cooperation with Iran. The diplomatic, commercial and media blockade that was imposed on Iran will end with the conclusion of this war. Pay close attention to the fact that Trump, after he had given Iran a new deadline extending until the 6th of April, he says that the deadline is 2 to 3 weeks. This deadline is actually the Congress's deadline. It's the period before Congress issues a decision to stop the war and rejects the request that the Pentagon had submitted to allocate $200 billion for this war. Therefore, it is clear that Trump was always setting a deadline for himself, not for the Iranians. Also, dear viewers, today, so that everyone can see how Epstein's alliance is suffering a heavy defeat, facing a very big predicament, and wants to get out of it by any means. Notice that the longer this war continues, the more Trump's goals are lowered. At first, he said the aim of the war was to topple the Iranian regime. After that, he started saying that the goal is to strip Iran of its nuclear capabilities. And then later he started talking about stripping Iran of its missile capabilities. Then the goal became to destroy the Iranian air and naval forces, and after that the goal became to open the Strait of Hormuz. Today, even just opening the Strait of Hormuz has become the goal. The real goal of this war today, according to Trump, is that Trump, during his speech today, said that the goal is for Iran to sign an agreement to stop the war. Pay close attention, meaning that the goal today has become just what? To stop the war as well. Today, we saw a statement from the US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, who said that America has achieved the goals of the war. Okay, good. What is this goal? He said that these goals, the goal is to destroy the Iranian naval and air power and to limit Iran's missile capabilities. Not to strip them completely, but to limit Iran's missile capabilities. So there's a lot of confusion even in the statements. Every hour there are contradictory statements. There are statements that don't match each other within the American administration. Trump says one thing, then Marco Rubio comes out after him and says something else. Then Hexit comes out and says something completely different. Then Trump comes back and says something that contradicts what he said earlier. And that's how it's been since the beginning of this war. Today, if America says it has achieved its goal and destroyed the naval and Iranian forces, then how is that? America is still complaining today that the Strait of Hormuz is closed. So who is closing this strait? Then, if America says it has achieved its goal, destroyed the Air Force, so who is sending this barrage of missiles every day that is pounding the strongholds of the Epstein coalition in all areas of Israel and in the Gulf countries? And more than that too. When Trump asked for a new nuclear deal with Iran, didn't he say that during the previous war? You mean a nuclear war? The one that was last year? Didn't he say that he achieved a great accomplishment? And that he completely destroyed Iran's nuclear capabilities? And that Iran no longer has any ability to make a nuclear bomb and so on? So pay close attention, always. There are lies, and there is showing off, just showing off imaginary power. A power that doesn't exist. The reality is that this war has revealed exactly who this description applies to. A paper tiger? Who is it? Here, the paper tiger? The key point is there's nothing new to mention. In this new speech by Trump, which lasted 20 minutes, he didn't say anything except the same insinuations he had made throughout the previous days. And what's also strange, dear viewers, is that Trump did not mention Israel at all during this speech, not even once. This perhaps raises many questions about the fate of the Epstein alliance after this war, after this catastrophic defeat. Will it continue, or will there be other changes as well? So let's not forget, there's an important point that Trump talked about in this speech. This point, especially about the rise in energy prices. Because of this war, Trump gave reassurances to the American people that they shouldn't worry. Energy prices are high and so on. But Trump said that energy prices will go down in America because he will bring oil from other sources. Like what? Like Venezuela? But the reality today is very different from what Trump is talking about. For example, Trump always used to say that the new leaders of Venezuela, after Maduro was abducted, are opposed to America. But in reality, we see that there is absolutely no change happening in Venezuela today. The Venezuelan regime continues to make strong statements against Trump and against America. It has not taken any steps that indicate this Venezuelan regime is surrendering or giving in at all. Therefore, the question arises, what if Venezuela refuses to sell oil to America? Is selling oil the only thing Venezuela has conceded to America? But what if it goes back on this? All the media in Venezuela, today, they support Iran in this war, criticizing Trump and America's involvement in this conflict. Therefore, we might witness Venezuela turning against Trump at this critical moment that America is experiencing. This crisis, the energy crisis, the price crisis. And that would be a strong blow, one that might rearrange the region again today so that everyone knows, as we talk about Venezuela and this region of the Americas. There was a very interesting development this week that did not get media attention since everyone was preoccupied with this war on Iran. This development is that Russia succeeded in breaking the blockade imposed by America on Cuba. Russia sent a huge shipment of oil and it managed to safely reach one of Cuba's ports. It entered one of Cuba's ports, which means a major breakthrough, a decisive breach of the blockade imposed by America. This event is a very significant one. It will help Cuba get out of the crisis it has been suffering from after the power outages that have affected the entire country. And after almost running out of all the gasoline and other supplies it had, this shipment might save the country from collapse. It broke the American blockade, and it is truly another defeat for Trump, one of Trump's ongoing defeats as well. Dear viewers, today everyone should pay attention to another very important point, so let's address it. It's clear today that Iran is achieving a victory, even though it hasn't used all the cards it has yet. Pay close attention. Everything happening today is just some of the cards Iran holds. For example, today we're talking about a partial closure of the Strait of Hormuz, so what if it were completely closed? And what if the Bab al-Mandab Strait was closed as well? I mean, we're talking about how Iran still has many allies, while Epstein's alliance no longer has any cards left to play in this conflict. They've already played all the cards they had. So today, even though Yemen has entered this war, its involvement is only partial. So pay close attention. Yemen has not yet entered with all the power it has. Yemen is getting involved in a very calculated way. They are only sending a few missiles to Israel, which are clearly from the old stockpile, and they are gradually getting rid of them now. Meanwhile, they have not yet taken the most important escalatory step, which is closing the Bab al-Mandab Strait. If this happens, the crisis will become global, because then it won't just be about energy, oil and gas, but everything related to international trade and local industries and so on will come to a halt. This is a very significant point of strength that Iran hasn't used yet, and I believe it won't need to use it, because the situation today is rapidly developing in Iran's favor. Today, Iran sent a strong message to America, and sent a message of reassurance to the whole world, to those who stand in solidarity with Iran. The message is that Iran still has a huge stockpile of missiles, and that strategic military production is still operating in other secret locations. Iran said you will never know where they are, and you will never reach them. So this message was directed at Trump, especially because there are intelligence reports circulating today in a number of international newspapers. They were talking or building on this attack, that Iran has about 3,000 ballistic missiles in its stockpile, and there are other reports that say Iran has 2,500 missiles. But the Iranian response said that it has a huge stockpile of these missiles that exceeds all expectations. The spokesperson for Khatam al-Anbiya headquarters, Dolfagar, said we will continue this war until the end. And he said to America directly, he said, don't think you have destroyed the missile production centers or the drone production centers or destroyed the air defense systems and other military equipment. He said, if you think that, be sure that you are entering a swamp bigger than the one you are drowning in now. And this is a fact we have talked about, a fact proven by images. And the videos that existed before the start of this war confirm how Iran has real cities, major cities underground, how it hides everything underground today. Even fighter jets are hidden underground. There was also a statement today by the Iranian army commander who said that if America launches a ground invasion of Iran, none of them will remain alive. there was a statement by Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian, who said that Israel is manipulating America and wants this war to continue until the last American soldier. Today, dear viewers, but some people come out to promote some strange ideas, a truly defeatist attitude. They are looking for a way out to cover up this humiliating defeat that Trump is facing, so they say that America is not defeated, and that if it were defeated, it would use nuclear weapons, and that it is preparing for that. Now, there is talk on social media, and some newspapers have published this, as if nuclear weapons are a toy that any president in America can use as if he were using any ordinary weapon. The thing that everyone must be convinced of today is that it is impossible for America to use nuclear weapons against Iran. This is not an option at all for several reasons that are not even being considered. The first reason that makes this impossible is that today, any use of nuclear weapons would be a violation of the nuclear norm that the world has followed for many decades, since World War II. If this happens, it would be like a global green light given by America to all the countries of the world. By using nuclear weapons, then Russia will solve its problems with nuclear weapons, and China will also solve its problems with nuclear weapons, and North Korea will do the same thing. That means at that point, nuclear weapons will become just an ordinary weapon in conflicts, as if it's a Kalashnikov that all countries use to solve their disputes. And this represents the greatest strategic fear for America, meaning this is not in America's interest at all. The second thing is that nuclear weapons won't destroy Iran, it will destroy the whole region. So if northern Iran is struck, that means the nuclear radiation will reach Azerbaijan, Turkmenistan, Iraq, and Turkey. If the south is struck, that means the radiation will reach all the Gulf countries. And it will reach those commercial ships passing through there, including American ships with American crews. Besides that, the whole region has American interests, companies, investments, oil wells, diplomatic missions, and more. So America can't destroy itself like that, not at all. The third point is that striking Iran with nuclear weapons would have absolutely no effect on the Iranian regime. The country is vast and sprawling. We're not talking about a small state or neighboring countries. The country will not collapse. For example, destroying the capital or destroying one of Iran's cities or anything like that. There are so many considerations. Using nuclear weapons is absolutely out of the question. Only a few, whom I consider to be human devils, are bringing up this topic today just to take away the euphoria of victory, the energy of victory, or the feeling that Muslims are truly capable. They want to rob us of this euphoria and this energy. Even among those who support Iran, they want to shake their confidence and cause unrest in Iran. And in this victory that you are witnessing today, the reality is completely different. Be absolutely sure that Iran today is not the Iran of yesterday. Iran is achieving a truly great victory today on all levels. The issue on the table today is far from that. The issue being discussed today is how Trump will withdraw from this war. What will this defeat look like? What is the lie that Trump will rely on in the end to say that he achieved the goals of the war? That's it. And then he announces the withdrawal. That's what we'll see. We'll see how that plays out over the next few hours. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. May God's mercy and blessings be upon you. Goodbye.